Joe Flowers, designer for Condor Tool&Knife, and we got some new stuff for 2017. This is a matte grand design. You can see the etching on the sides here. He had an original Bowie, or original machete that he went on walkabout with, and started out with that as his first design, and then came out with this. We call it the primitive sequoia knife. It comes with a classy kind of sheath, or I'm sorry, a leather sheath. You can see how it's a pouch style, all one piece. We had JRE Industries. If you ever need a custom knife sheath, JRE Industries came down to Makara and helped us design some knife sheaths. So we got some great knife sheaths out. This is called the Primitive Sequoia Knife, designed by Matt Graham. Man, we're trying folders. We're gonna try some moving parts this year, but we deal with primitive stuff, right? So we incorporated it into a primitive skill. This is a bow drill socket knife. It comes in its own little kit, this little side sheath here. It's very quick for a bow drill. You know, it's metal. Does not transmit heat at all. You'd think that it'd get really hot. It doesn't because of the liner lock. But it's new this year. We're trying something new. We're still in the production or prototype phase, but we're trying. We have a bow drill socket as well that's available this year. If you want to try and supercharge your bow drills, this is more for the guys who know what they're doing. If they want to try something where they get a bow drill in like 4 seconds or 3 seconds, try this guy. We put a special little ream in there to hold a little bit of Vaseline or wax, or if you have any type of oil or lubricant that you like to put in there, we can put it in there, and it makes stuff get hot very quickly when you're doing friction fires. This is my design this year. This is called the Jungalo. Out in the Philippine jungles, there's a very common machete design. It's a very thick machete, handmade from like Volkswagen springs and car springs, and they hammer these out and they put car tires for the handle. Very popular knife with guys who have been out there and come back. They always come back with one of these. I spec'd this out with some help from a writer named Ruben Bowie, or Boyo. He can yell at me later on for his name. Ruben came with these Philippine Bowies and these Philippine machetes, and we spec'd it out and tried to get it as close as we could, because it's hard to get these unless you go on eBay, and then you have to pay like $300. This guy you can get for less than 100. Walnut handle, 5 millimeters thick with a leather sheath. We have a lot of new designs, but we're not going to sit here and kill Andy's small videos with like 90 designs, so we're going to skip through. We have the Neo Nessmuck. This is my design that's kind of trying to incorporate the new style abilities that we have over at Condor with some old designs like the Nessmuck. So it's more of a modern take on a Nessmuck. Comes with the leather sheath. And we have the Neo Nessmuck Necker, or Neo Necker is what we actually call it. And that little guy is somewhere around here, but it comes with the Kydex sheath. It's this, but smaller. And it's around. We'll come to it in a minute. We have all this stuff like nice and put out in a certain way, and then people come and move it everywhere. In the jungles of the Amazon, I watched the owner of this YouTube channel wash himself. And he had clothes on, so don't get too excited. But anyway, he came down with me into the Amazon about 3 years ago, and we both saw the need for a small little knife with our huge knives that we designed. And this is kind of the thought process with that. There's a lot of little crafts where you want to be able to get into small spots to make like a blowpipe or a blowgun mouthpiece, or just be able to carve really small. And having this in its little leather sheath dangling off your side, and like a Night Eyes S-beaner or on your neck is pretty handy. So it's great to go with the big knife. It's called the Woodswise. It's for the guys who really know what they're doing in the woods, because they have a big knife or a large axe, and then they have this little guy, and they're able to carve beautiful feather sticks, etc., etc., etc. If we come over to here, you can get that mental image of Andy washing himself out of your head, and talk about some of the new stuff. This is the Navajo knife. You can check out the sheaths that we've been working on. Of course, we had JRE Industries help us with sheath design, and it's able to bump our sheath quality up a lot. So we have a leather sheath here that rides really close to the hip. Pretty awesome for concealed carry, or next to concealed carry. This guy, of course, wouldn't be concealed carry, but it rides really close to the hip like a clamshell sheath. The knife itself has a recurve style. It kind of has a Kukri-esque tie E-net design. We put the braided wire there. This is raised up a little bit in the production version that we have at my house. It's completely flat. It doesn't hurt the hand at all when you're carving. I've used it on numerous deer and all sorts of odd stuff that I wouldn't put a knife to this design to put it up to, and it worked very, very well. Matt Graham came out with a ultralight African-style double-edged knife. I believe we're calling this the African bush knife. It's 2 millimeters thick, so it's a thin design. Really, really lightweight. It's kind of like a mini gladius style, or like a miniature smash it. A really, really interesting design. Oh, quick, what's the name of this? African bush knife. Oh, I was right. Yay. Go me. So you see that little flange there, guys? That goes on the back. You'll see that there's no loop here. This is really, really cool. Normally people wear belts and when they're out in the bush, so you put this in between your belt and your pants and it just kind of sits there. Then when you're getting into the car, you just take it off, or when you're sitting down at camp, you can just take it off and have it stored on the side. I've used it a lot. This is kind of like a traditional flange that they have on the El Salvadorian sheaths, and I like it a lot. Tim Stetzer is a heck of a writer. He knows the frontier style knives, so he collaborated with myself to make the scalper. The scalper is not used to remove hair from the head. Oddly enough, it was more of a chef's knife, a camp knife, a do-all knife. So it's very thin, like a chef's knife, but still very, very reminiscent of the rendezvous style knives that are out there in 1075. Oddly enough, not oddly enough, we're now working with 1095 for our carbon steels too. So some of our designs that are coming out now and are coming out next year are in 1095. And our stainless steels, we are now converting to 440 HC or 440C. We were first working with 420, which was working pretty well, but we wanted to up our ante a little bit. This is the Makara machete. Now, it's important when you're designing a machete sword hybrid to think about what's going to be used the most. So I said, Joe, I'm probably going to be using this more as a machete and machete things rather than having to actually fight people with the sword, but I'd like to have that thought process there. So this is actually deceptively thin. It's only 3 millimeters thick with a skeletonized handle so that you could use it quickly. I'm going to swing this one-handed really easily, still use it as a machete, choke back on it, clear really well, but then if you have to battle zombies or dinosaurs or whatever monsters you have to, you can still use it two-handed as well. It's interesting to have this as a hybrid because we still wanted to keep the biggest task, which is chopping, splitting, and being able to choke up and do fine stuff really well, but still have something that you could seriously defend yourself with or to keep people away if they see it. Granted, I'm not going to be well, you know what? I will take this backpacking. I don't care. I probably won't go into a state or a national park, but I will backpack on private property with this guy and be splitting wood all day long because I can two-hand it. But it's a fantastic and fun blade. Yes, survival is important, but you're buying this stuff to have fun too, and this has fun with a capital F on it. The Makara machete. Operator Bowie, this is a tactical style Bowie. It comes with the Kydex sheath that is buried under a bunch of paperwork over there. Oh, there he is. We got it. Thank you, Rick. It's a reversible Kydex sheath. Smashing pommel. You can see on the side there, welded. Man, it was really fun testing this. We threw it. We did all sorts of stupid stuff. We hit it with a sledgehammer. At the end of the testing, we were breaking bricks over it, not just breaking bricks with it, but trying to break it, and we could not. So this is a very hardcore, hard use Bowie, and it comes with a reversible Kydex sheath. You can flip both ways. And to finish up, the HD Kukri was a wood handle design that was very popular because Alan Kay of Alone won it for 56 days out in the Vancouver Islands. They're living with just a Condor HD Kukri, which is over there. This guy is called the K-Tac. It's in commemoration of his job out there. We made it to his specs with a smashing pommel, welded just like we talked about before, and a micarta handle and a Kydex sheath. This is usable. Okay, it has some tactical appeal to it if you're going to be carrying this, but it's more for the outdoorsman who knows what they're doing out in the wild or even out in their backyard to carry everywhere. It's a all-terrain super chopper. But the cool part about Kukris is that you can choke up on it and utilize that for smaller carving. As I shave off the skin on my finger here, pretend that's a fuzz stick instead of my flesh, and you're able to use the Kukri to be multifaceted in a bunch of different uses. It actually, with that small taper there, lends itself for a lot of different outdoor carving style tasks. If you want to find out more about our new stuff, you can go on Condor TK, www.condortk.com, or on our Facebook page. Of course, we have Instagram and all that good stuff. If you like this video, subscribe to Interbark down below and hit like and give it a thumbs up because he does a really good job.